ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but we have not quite finished this franchise yet. So, from what I understand, Brandon knows a heck of a lot more about this particular and final feature in this franchise. Go ahead, Brandon. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this is the 2017 part 2 of Skeleton Key 3. So it actually has been a little while since our last foray. Let's see, Skeleton Key 3 was, it's been 6 years since the previous installment. And apparently our protagonist, who was frozen in carbonite, awakens to a world filled with monsters that has been taken over by the evil Dr. Noches, and he must join the resistance in order to try and bring freedom to the land once again. So, I think that the beginning of the movie did the best to describe this, and I'll play that real quick as far as my feelings are concerned.
And a never-ending story that just won't die. I hate you, John Johnson!
I think that seems to be pretty apt by the end for most of us.
Yes.
So I will go ahead and, what's actually funny is that this movie had just come out when I was just started to be introduced to the series. So it was no wonder it was fully in print when I was actually looking for it. But in any case, I will start off with, we'll start off with you, Dave. Was this your first time watching Skeleton Key 3 Part 2? Dave? Well, we'll move on from Dave and come back. How about you, Jake? Is this your first time watching Skeleton Key 3 Part 2?
Yes, it was. It was it was definitely my first time with this one. Could well be the last time, who knows. I think Dave's description of exciting film journey, I'm not sure any one of those 3 words fully applies here.
Well, I don't know. Journey like the Lord of the Rings, Journey to the Mountain of Doom.
A journey implies a destination. It implies going somewhere. And one could argue that this series did, but I would argue the Lord of the Rings had a much clearer and more definitive journey. And exciting is definitely pushing the definition of that word. But it is... This one had a few things going for it, not the least of which the fact that it was the end of the series. Neil is barely in it, thank God. And in fact, they almost give him a little bit of a middle finger, where it's determined that they got the wrong hero before, and they literally needed the guy next door, who turns out to be even more worthless, but not as annoying. So there was that. Anime Girl should have been my favorite, but she annoyed the crap out of me. Yeah, it was almost just, they made jokes about how Howard gained all that weight in Carbonite, but my God, Arbuckle gained so much it was distracting. It was like, how much time passed between these minutes? It was weird. But I don't know. It's overall, the movie had a little bit more focus and direction than the others. It's a low bar, but it did do that. As with the others, some of the jokes didn't land. A few of them did. I mean, it could have been worse. They upped the musical component. You could almost call this one a full-on musical, almost. But it was, again, should have been at least a half hour shorter. But I didn't feel that as badly as I did the other three. So there is that. And I will admit, this was my favorite version of Evil. So it had a few things going for it, but I will be glad to move on to a new series.
All right, Dave, we'll get back to you now. Was this your first time watching Skeleton Key 3 Part 2?
Yes, this is my first time viewing Skeleton Key 3 Part 2. Like I said, I had collected the series, but unfortunately it just kind of sat in my bins for a rainy day for me to watch them, especially since I knew they were each 2 hours long for an independent movie or whatnot. It was more, and I'm kind of glad I waited because it was kind of a slog. All of it. Some of the jokes landed, some of them didn't. I did enjoy seeing him work with different characters throughout. Glad that he mixed up a few characters. Like I like the way that he explained the way Dr. Notches was kind of like reborn, so to speak, in a sense. Just kind of like found the fountain of youth somehow. But,
did anyone else feel like it looked eerily like someone caught Ewan McGregor and NPH?
Yeah, I just called him like discount Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I definitely got Doogie Howser vibes.
just a little bit, and of course, I almost felt like, what did they go to like one of those singing shows and like grab someone who could tweak his balls so that he could actually sing that high? Because that song is sung as high in Greece, that they were parodying, which I'm sure we'll get into some of these songs later on. But I was kind of surprised that the dude that was actually singing could actually hit those high notes. So, for what it's worth, Evil was a little better this time. I kind of wish that they'd have gone more towards rescuing their friend, which is why they went to Nilbog to begin with, and kept that plot. But he kind of just got caught by the wayside, and
I like how the end basically says he got tired of waiting for them and saved himself.
yeah, and the fact that Sam Beckett never got home, Quantum Leap reference. But in any case, I enjoyed the musical numbers. Let's put it that way, and I do think that this film, I do think that the one before this had more boobs than anything else. This one had less boobs, I think. Less TNA. At least in my mind. But it is what it is, and at least we kind of get more Skeleton Key stuff, you know. And there's a
Skeleton Key.
I don't want to say the whole thing, so I enjoyed it to its end. Glad I saw what I saw, and at the end of everything, he didn't even get to go with his fucking girlfriend. So I don't know what's going on. A little bit confused as to where Howard is going from here, but that's okay. It's a movie. It's a film.
All right, Tammy, is this your first time watching Skeleton Key 3 Part 2?
Yes. I think this one was, to me, I thought this one was more fun, than the part one of part 3. Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely liked the part 2 of part 3 better than part 1 of part 3. There we go. I don't know. It's not that I'm like a prude or anything like that, but I like that there wasn't as much sex and titty shots in this one as there was, in the other one. I like that there was a little bit more movie in it, a little more movie, I mean, Skeleton Key being what it is, it's kind of say the term movie loosely there. But I had fun with it. I like the songs in it. I don't know. It was just it was more fun for me to watch. I mean, part 1 of part 3, I was like, I was getting to the point where isn't this over yet? This one, it was like, oh, okay, we're done. Okay. So I wasn't like sitting here, watching how much time was left, So, but yeah, I have more fun with this one.
Well, that seems to be pretty much. I mean, I think that as far as the 4 go, this is the best out of the 4. This one was in print when I first got introduced to the series, and that's something. I don't think it's in print any longer, but it is the only one available to stream on Tubi. I know that in my reviews, I was much more pleased with it, and I actually liked it. I think like is a bit too strong a word, but I also think that since I was watching them all back to back, I was probably more relieved than anything else at the fact that there was an attempt at coherency. And I think that as far as things go, there is a plot somewhat, and I do think this is the only one that I actually would say, if I removed a good half hour from this particular movie, I could actually have a movie that was somewhat coherent, with somewhat of a plot, and I think with good editing, it would actually be a solid movie, one into the other. Maybe not wonderful, but definitely one that I think would be liked much better than the others. The others, I really don't think that, especially 2 and 3, I don't think any part of editing would make this into a coherent movie. But
I guess my biggest problem is why are zombies blue? and
That's your biggest
why
problem with the movie
why
series.
did he go and mimic the zombies like they were from Return of the Living Dead? I get that. I get that people like the whole brains thing, but it kind of gets old. And honestly, zombies in reality do not speak. So,
Well, again, it's just
I
a
know.
play on things. I don't think they're taking anything serious with it. But we started off with a musical number, but after our main character busts through his frozen and carbonite, you get to see the frozen replica even out to his dick being out, which you see his hand bust right through the pants, and you go right.
The metallic phallus falling to the ground.
We go straight from that into a musical number that was right out of Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Schnapps of Horror. Yep.
So, where he basically gives an idea, saying that, yes, I'm here. I don't know where I am or what's going on. And why the heck did I gain so much weight while I was frozen? Which, as Jake said, is something that they talk about throughout the whole of it. But I know very well that a lot of weight can be gained in 6 years. And lost, and gained, and lost again.
Indeed.
So what do you think about this start? I'm not going to be doing it. I'm not going to be breaking it down this small pieces, but I do feel like this is worth just a basic discussion. What y'all think of this start to the second part of the third movie?
Well, it shows he was a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, there is that. I also felt like him busting out of the carbonite the way he did kind of reminded me of Dana and Tully busting out of the creatures at the end of Ghostbusters, and I wonder if that was intentional.
It probably was, considering the number of movie references that they like to make in this series. But he falls in quickly. He gets picked up by our Haitian stereotype, and he finds out that they are in the resistance, that Dr. Noches has taken over everything. Now, he doesn't stay with his friend for very long because he's in with his own group.
Well, he also finds out that they both have been promoted to generals.
Yes.
Even though he's been frozen for 5 years.
I do like that he looks at this like, this is ridiculous as much as it was. Like, are you sure? But yeah, his friend is helping to be a part of a group of I guess a group of people of color that are a platoon doing some odd mission.
And then, of course, one token white dude.
Well, ish.
Guy in blackface.
Okay, I almost wonder if he's imitating Tropic Thunder.
I wonder about that too. And I also wonder if the whole idea of having this particular group was a nod to the way the military deployed its forces in the South Park movie.
Yeah, probably. And, I was ready to be a little bit upset about having the one guy in blackface, but they actually handled that. When you got to the end and got to find out why they did that, it actually handled itself.
Yeah, I guess.
I
feel like Tropic Thunder explained it better and handled it better, but
better film.
This is true.
So oddly enough, they actually do have tasks. They split up the main groups. Not that group. That group. I'm not even sure what that group's mission was, other than carrying the American flag and then making sure that everybody who carried it died. And then fighting the big guy at the end.
Right.
But the way it was is one group was to go kill the king zombie because the king zombie would take down all the other zombies. Then one group was to find the skeleton key, and then the other ones were to find out what the skeleton key does, if I remember correctly. Which would be good because, you know, we've had this 4-part series and now we're finally introduced to the skeleton key. It'd be good to know what it was for. Oh, and then the other group was to try and find the real chosen one because we find out that Neil was not the chosen one. And bring him in. And oddly enough, other than a very brief section at the end, Neil is not involved at all in this movie. Which when I saw that, I was like, "Oh,
much rejoicing! Yay!"
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I figured
I don't
Jacob
think we
would be
missed.
like,
I don't think we missed him. I don't think I even realized that he wasn't in it at all until the end. I'm like, you know what? Annoying dude was not.
no longer annoying Neil. So
I actually liked how they had the part where in the last movie where he's like, they're going to come through that door any minute. And we hear him through the door saying that while the group is completely ignoring him and going to the room across the hall. I was like, yay.
Invisible Man was also involved in one of those groups, wasn't he? I can't remember which one. Oh, he was involved in one of the main groups too.
I believe he was actually involved in the group that Howard was in.
Well, he did a couple. In the initial, he was paired up with Mandy, but then later where they kind of remixed it. Yeah.
And I'll admit, the Invisible Man had more to do in this movie than any of the others. He even had his own fight scene with his own nemesis that they introduced at the very end. The Hollow Man. And actually, I'll tell you, that actual battle between the two of them, I'll admit, I did laugh a little bit at that. Maybe it's the Stockholm Syndrome, but I think I laughed more at this movie than I laughed at the other three combined. Also, of course, he gets bitten again, and you have, of course, the last of the evils, the white evil.
Right.
And I'll admit, they made him far more sinister than any of the evils in this particular series.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he definitely played the evil part, including the vampire thing and all. Now, with all that being said, we also have Dr. Noches and evil version of Howard.
And as I said, I've been playing some of your CDs, and I really think that song, I Like Murder, It's Fun, that would be a good one for Dr. Noches.
Yeah, he stepped it up from the last movie, which he was also killing people senselessly.
Yeah. It's like, oh, not to mention this time around, he's surrounded by an army of bright orange clones who call themselves the Cobra Kai. Yeah, I wonder what that's to.
That they made no secret what they were alluding to. Sweet leg.
Yeah, that was a little funny.
But I admit, like I said, the guy reminded me of Neil Patrick Harris light, essentially.
Oh yeah. It's like I said, there was like an Ewan McGregor mixed in, but they're definitely, like, depending on which way I was like, I couldn't think who he reminded me more of, but just he was so much younger and it was obvious they were going for that. And I was like, oh my god, this has got to be a Doogie Howser reference.
And I thought, actually, it's weird. Out of all of them, he was the one that I enjoyed watching the most. And Dr. Noches has been steadily more annoying throughout the series, and he came back full circle to being amusing again.
He was funny in the first one, but yeah, he did get a little more annoying as he went.
But a matter of fact, he was just so like obsessed with himself that he didn't even realize Howard was out, because everybody tried to tell him was subsequently murdered by him.
Right. He kept asking everyone, am I pretty or whatever? Or like, yeah.
But he did send evil Howard after him when he finally got things going.
White Coat Howard?
Yeah, White Coat Howard.
Yeah. And of course, we find out that Mandy, having had a taste of White Coat Howard, is now cheating on Howard or at least planning to.
Well, yeah, I mean, they run off together at the end of the movie.
They run off together. Yes, apparently they have 33 children. I'm like, damn. That's kind of fun.
And she can't walk either. They have 33 children. She can no longer walk.
Well, to tell you the truth, I only remember a few basic things from this. I remember that in the platoon section of the movie, it was whenever person was holding the American flag got killed.
Yeah.
And the nerdy guy who thought he was a zombie came back for that. But he was an alternate reality version of him.
Right.
And for that group, they ended up fighting like some sort of like super zombie guy. Does anybody remember what the significance of what they were doing was?
No.
Because it felt just aimless.
I mean, I think it was supposed to be like a distraction or something, maybe, but I don't remember.
I do find it interesting that they were pretty much led by the one guy. Well, they were led by our Haitian stereotype and the guy in blackface, which turned out to be a spy who was not really black.
Yeah.
And he did get killed for it. So I will give it that.
Right.
He did get punished for going in blackface.
And for waving the American.
Justly so.
But yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of interesting how the flag was this movie's version of a red shirt.
I feel like there was a portion of this movie that was trying to correct some of the issues from the past movies, which I guess makes sense because this one came out way after the other three.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of it was adapting to how culture had changed in all that time. I mean, 2011 America is very different than 2017 America.
Yeah.
I mean, that our glorious butt pirate had learned to accept that he was a butt man all along.
Yes, but the women have butts too.
Yes.
Well, and the fact that he went into the pool of gay and he didn't come out gay.
Well, that the whole pool of gay and pool of straight thing was apparently all in his head. It was him all along.
Yeah.
So he learned to accept that he's the butt man, the true butt pirate. And that it didn't matter who the butt belonged to. He was good either way.
Right.
And I think that made the character much less of a problem than he was in the third movie.
And his musical number was more interesting than the one in the third movie.
I did like how he broke up with Howard. It's like, yeah, well, that's all right. I never really wanted to be with you.
Someone had to, you know. That seems to be... course, Mandy kind of did too,
Yeah,
but she
they
kind
were
of already
really
had.
a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anime Girl was leading one of the searches. I think it was for the
Yeah.
skeleton key. And she had to fight a tentacle monster, which did make sense for anime girls.
Well, that was at the end. Yeah, she did have that big battle with the Well, she also led the delegation to find the chosen one. Yeah,
which she did find.
Yeah, she did. She
And
was
he was
actually,
also-
even though she was kind of annoyingly ditzy, she was probably the most competent female in the whole series. Which is a low bar indeed. Even Mandy got much more character development in this one than she did in the previous installment, but it still was not much. But she and Animat, both of them, put the other girls to shame. And I mean, this one we had a friggin' girl trip and break her neck falling down the stairs for no reason other than because the whole series had all these stupid people in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just keeping up the theme of all the, and yet somehow the leprechaun still lives.
Well, yeah, he was still a good guy in this, technically.
You know you've got to have a leprechaun at the end of everything, you know.
And they had an evil dog to fight the good dog.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interestingly thrown in there.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here to try and remember stuff. I swear I didn't watch it that long ago.
Well, I'm not sure that you're missing much. I think we've hit most of the plot in bits and pieces.
I mean, the basic concept is they get the skeleton key. The skeleton key opens up to another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is for the chosen one to drag Dr. Noches in there where they can banish him for good, because Dr. Noches, as he says, he is immune to being blown up. That was kind of funny that Howard used the fire trick on him as well.
And the chosen one just so happens to be this random guy with a musical instrument that really didn't have much limelight.
Yeah. And meanwhile,
he sounded annoying.
We should mention as well that Dr. Kubert returns as well. And of course, leads one of the music numbers or helps lead one.
And I believe that it was Howard ends up, when he does end up taking out the Zombie King, who was oddly enough just another dude that was on the side that just took up the mantle of it because all the others got killed.
Right.
But he finally took out not just the Zombie King, but his zombie dildo scepter, which I think was what, did it. And by taking it out, Howard was finally granted purification for all of his wounds, and they would flash back to all the times he was bitten, including on the dick. And the evil guy was finally banished. So in a way, it was kind of good that they finally resolved a lot of the extra story issues, even if it wasn't an after credit scene like with Cornelius. Like I said, I do find it amusing that he had actually got tired of waiting for them and saved himself.
Yeah.
I think there was a scene of him.
I like when the dude was getting banished and he kept getting zapped.
Oh yeah,
that was funny.
So, what was it? Nah, I was going to say something. I couldn't remember what it was.
I mean, it did end one heck of a battle. I mean, you got all of them, like I said, the anime girl fought the tentacle monster. Howard was fighting Dr. Noches. The dogs were fighting.
Noches tried to fight him with his nougat.
Yeah.
Yes, he took his nougat. One thing to note. Oh, I did want to mention. Apparently, Conrad Brooks, the guy from Plane 9. Apparently, this was one of his last projects, and he passed away about the same year it came out.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. According to what they said in the background is they actually sought him out for
Right.
this. I mean, they found him living in a trailer park when they did this. So they kind of sought him out because they wanted him to do that role, to be a part of it, because they were doing a Plan 9 style movie, which, as a credit to Ed Wood definitely puts together a more solid movie. But that being said, I did find that this one had much more to it than the other three. And I do wonder what would happen if, you know, somebody actually decided to take up the mantle and do a retread of the series. Like somebody who would actually write a real script for it. You know, work on trying to do an actual story itself for it. I wonder how that would come across if that happened.
Random thought. I wondered, Brandon and Dave, I wonder if either of you were aware of this. That our Dr. Noches in this one is the one that played Joker in that Harley Quinn project that Dane did.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. I could see him as Joker, actually.
I actually thought he was a pretty good actor in this.
Yeah.
And actually, if I'm going to be honest, because this is still in the plot discussion,
yeah,
I do think that the acting in this was good all the way around. I mean, I'm not saying that it was good as an Oscar worthy. I'm saying it was, in a movie like this, being over the top is what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I didn't really think that there were any performances that took me directly out of this film. And
not as many.
And I don't think that John Johnson was, to any extreme, a bad actor.
Oh, no.
As an actor himself in his own films.
I think he's fine. The big issue with him, for me, is that as the film goes on, as the series goes on, he's playing someone more and more frustrated and annoyed and all this kind of stuff. And the audience, I guess, is meant to sympathize with him as the protagonist. But I feel like it almost cuts too close to what the audience is actually feeling about what we know is his movie. And so it's kind of like it almost feels disingenuous for him to be playing someone who's so over the whole story. I think he does it well. It takes me out of the movie a little bit to know that it's the director who's doing all this complaining about how you know what I mean? It's
true enough. Well, any other thoughts about the plot? I mean, they did talk about the end. We have talked about, like, everybody seems to do okay. I mean, Howard's on his own, but at the same time, you know, he's fine with that. He got himself a new coat.
He gets a final music number.
Yep.
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 He gets like a coat, and he doesn't want to go into the story because evidently it's another long one.
But any other thoughts on this particular series plot-wise?
I think we've hit most of it.
Well, yeah. I think the whole plot was to take down Dr. Noches and his dastardly plots each time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which they did. They finally found the way to do it with the skeleton key and the real chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of a Bruce Cavill novel title. I left my sneaker in Dimension X.
So, production value. or production design. This series of films may be a lot of things, but for a micro budget feature, the production design was actually very good. And all of them, really. The little gore effects, even down to the whole Carbonite figure. I thought they did an excellent job with the makeup and set design and all of that for what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to be Weta Works, but they can't afford Weta Works. So,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of micro budget pieces, and this makes them all look pale in comparison. I think one of the only ones that I could say would be on par with it, effects wise, at the budget level, would be maybe the Carousel series.
I would say production wise, solid.
Gotta give this thing some hits,
Yeah.
What about you, Dave? You've seen a lot of micro budget features. I mean, how do you feel it holds up compared to a lot of them?
Well, okay, yeah, there's a lot of bad things going on in the movie as far as like race wise a little bit, because some of the racy jokes that come with the the characters and whatnot, some of that wouldn't fly in this day and age. But
like I said, I think that they did a better job adapting to this one. But what did you think of the makeup, the effect?
I think they could have done a better job on the zombies. They look like blue meanies to me. Over time, like they were straight out of the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, they were distractingly blue.
Distractingly blue, yes. Those are the words. But other than that, I thought the different characters were interesting. I like the fact that there were vampires, and I think they had werewolves at one point in time. I like the fact that the king of the court always had some gigantic dildo for some reason.
In this case, it was a duke, I believe, because they killed off the rest of the court.
Yeah, king, queen, duke. Yeah, friends of the royal family.
Right.
But in any case, as far as special effects, I mean, I suppose they could not have done any better than they were. I mean, they were a cast of characters that were friends that I think they were winging it most of the time. In fact, I think it was very highly improv the entire amount of way, and that's without a script. So I think he did okay for coming up with a finality to the series at the end of everything. I mean, it was kind of a never-ending story,
What about music, All?
I wish we had a soundtrack.
I actually thought that the musical numbers were amusing in this one.
Yeah, they were mostly pretty good.
I was going to say, I thought the production. Oh.
Go ahead, Kendall. Go ahead.
I thought the production wasn't too bad. I mean, I've seen other movies with David that were low budget and everything, and I think these guys did a lot better than some of the other ones I've seen. In a way, I don't know what I always want to say. Their low budgetness, they almost make it fun. If that makes any sense, where like other ones that were low budget, you could just like, all right, you could tell this is low budget, yeah, this is like done really, but theirs is, it makes it part of the movie almost.
Yeah.
It's it, so I mean, and the different things that they came up with that were like everyone like Dr. Norris like minions, like they were all orange this time, and they change up his his followers all the time, and
His entourage.
yeah, everybody's slightly a little bit different or a little bit changed, and it I don't know, I it seems like they had a lot of fun with it, too. It's like in watching it, it's like I don't know how these people did not sit here and bust up laughing for like half of the scenes. But yeah, I think their production was pretty decent. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse. So
Yeah.
and you guys were starting to get into music when I came on, so I might as well say I did like the music. It's obvious what the first two songs were from. What movies they were, the musical part
Parody.
was from. Yeah. So
What about the rest of y'all? What did y'all think of the music? I think everybody seemed to be like that was pretty good in this one.
I've actually liked the music all throughout. So, I mean, I know a lot of it was parodying other songs or whatnot with their own lyrics. Like, some people would probably twist up the words with, I think Puff the Magic Dragon is a big one that people like to switch the lyrics around for their own.
Okay.
Or I remember Sideways Stories from Wayside School. Well, Lewis Sackart and novels. Well, I remember there being another version to Deck the Halls with Wayside School. Like Wayside School is falling down, falling down, falling down. Wayside School is falling down. So it's like, well, Weird Al is always known for parodying songs, but
Yeah, he's the master.
yeah. But there have been others who have done just as good. And I think that John Johnson is actually kind of a wordsmith when it comes to that, because he actually made it go with these songs. It may not have entirely come out the way that he might have wanted them to sound, because he's a little off key in some moments, but it's not like he has a totally trashable voice either.
Yeah, he's decent.
You could tell that he was trying to be creative about it, and to have most of these songs have words of his own and not copied from someone else. That's something too. So,
Well, I think at the end of it all, I think the best thing to play at the end of this is the same thing to play at the beginning.
And a never-ending story that just won't die. I hate you, John Johnson.
But in truth,
I did have one more comment on the music, but you jumped ahead a little quickly there.
go ahead.
I was mildly surprised but then I remembered it was a part two. I was mildly surprised they didn't kick off with the first song in this one, but they did play it on the end credits, and
Yep. Like I say, this they treated it like it was a continuation of the third movie. I will say this: I don't really hate John Johnson per se, and I think actually have some respect for the man being able to put together this many of these films. It's kind of like a joke that I would put in, much like he would probably joke about that as well. And I do think that the Skeleton Key series ended on a pretty solid note considering its past history. I'm also surprised that my opinion has not really changed all that much 7 years later. It's actually kind of funny because this movie only had been out less than a year from when I was first introduced to the series. So I didn't actually watch this one far from its original debut. So as interesting as it is. But I don't regret my journey to the land of Nilbog, or even coming back again, because I know in the end that this will stick with me again, and the agony that I have shared with others will warm me on those cold nights. But I hope you all have gotten something out of this viewing experience, because the next time I take over one of these months, it will be something far more mainstream than this, i.e. Kevin Smith mainstream. So maybe not entirely mainstream, but close.
Oh.
So with that being said, I will hand this back over to... Actually, wait, no, I can't yet because we forgot about favorite scenes and so on. Darn it. So let's talk about favorite scenes, favorite character over the entire Skeleton Key series. So from movie 1 to now. And last but not least, what is your favorite low budget film just in total? Be it B movie level down to micro budget level. Just I'll say low budget. We'll start with you, Jake. What's your favorite scene, Skeleton Key character, and favorite low budget film?
That's tricky. I'm tempted to say my favorite scene is where they go right up to Neil's door and turn around and go to someone else. I thought that was kind of hilarious and it was great. But picking that would mean that the one scene that involved Neil was actually my favorite, and I can't do that. So, I guess, oh man, I'm trying to think of specific scenes that were actually good. Like, I guess maybe it's cheating to say the end, but it is the end. And also, they did have a big rousing musical number, so that was kind of nice. I might go with that. And I will admit, Animate battling the tentacle monster amused me. They could have done more with it, but it did amuse me. Favorite character? This is difficult.
Hey, you got 4 movies you can go through.
I know.
Cornelius.
Cornelius is actually on the short list. But he wouldn't be my number one for that. I'm I'm tempted to go with. I'm tempted to go with White Coat Howard, maybe. He didn't do much in this one, but still, he was kind of amusing. Maybe Kodo, because you can't get but so frustrated with a cute dog. I don't have a clear favorite. I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. As far as low budget movies, I mean, again, I guess it depends on where you draw the line. But if
Well, let's just say under $1 million. How's that?
I'm pretty sure Clerks counts for that. That would probably.
Yeah.
And again, I know you specifically love your micro budget movies, and for that, I'd probably have to go with The Gamers. But but if we're just talking generally low budget, I guess Clerks might be the winner.
All right.
Okay.
How about you, Dave? Favorite scene, favorite character from Skeleton Key, and favorite low budget film.
I'm gonna have to go with two moments with Arbuckle. The first is when he was complaining about thinking that he was still gay while he was inside the colored girl. And then she said, "Stick it in my butt," and his reaction to that. And of course, when he apologized to Howard, and Howard's like, "Well, we didn't really have a relationship," and he's like denying everything. I just think that's funny. So those are my two favorites as scenes. I did kind of like the fact that the Skeleton Key did open up a doorway, but that could have been explained at least a little bit along the way throughout the films, instead of leaving the Skeleton Key stuff to the second and the last movie. So, but that being said, as far as a favorite budget movie, if I had to say a modern favorite, because I have many favorites, a modern favorite would probably be Six String Samurai.
All right. How about you, Tammy?
Let's see. Well, I've always, in all the other ones too, I've always liked the musical scenes, but this one I really liked them a lot more. The favorite actor or for favorite character, I know it's gonna sound weird, but I kind of like the devil dude.
I thought he was the least annoying of the four.
What? Which one?
This devil, the white one.
I like the devil dude.
Evil.
Evil, yeah.
I like Arbuckle myself.
Arbuckle wasn't too bad, but I don't really remember what movie are low budget or what budget. The only low budget movie that I know of that I definitely liked was Night of the Living Dead.
That was definitely a low budget movie.
I remember you liking the giant spider.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Well, for me, I did like that part at the beginning of the movie where he's like exiting the carbonite freeze through the dick hole. Followed by the summary song. Favorite character? It's between Dr. Kubert and Neil Patrick Harris, Dr. No Chase.
Dr. Bert was annoying as fuck to me.
As far as my favorite low budget film, I'd say the original Big Boss or Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee, because that was an extremely low budget movie. But it was also amazing, mainly because of Bruce Lee, but still. Because we can't forget that a lot of those early martial arts films that everybody loves are actually low budget features.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't really need much of a budget to make a good movie. But alrighty. Well, I suppose I should go around and see what everyone has to say for themselves, so that we can let our audiences know a little bit about who they are and what they do. So let's go with you, Jake. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm Kotobukijake. I am the sometime co-host of YouTube channel SeptumSin versus World. Also am got a lot of projects going on right now. In addition to, I got to work, I got to make that money. But I'm working on trying to get my first novel written. I'm actually workshopping some chapters with a bunch of people just to kind of see what they think about it. Haven't got much feedback yet, but it's getting out there. So that's good. I'm working on, it's still early days on this, but I'd like to set up a big website to kind of is an intersection between gardeners and conservationists. And it's going to be a huge project. And I don't know when or how I'm going to get it done, but I want to work on it. I still try and get out into the woods whenever I can, do firsthand research. And yesterday, actually managed to find my first ever wild population of an orchid I've never seen that happened to be in full bloom. And it happened to be exactly where I expected to find it, which never happens. So that was cool. And over the weekend, we had GalaxyCon here in Richmond, and I got to go to a major convention and see some folks, and met met Dante from Clerks, and met Barry Bostwick, and got some autographs and some cute little stickers for the truck, and just generally had a good time. It's kind of fun. I wish I'd planned it better, and maybe next year I will, assuming things like conventions are still happening next year and I'll still have any desire to go to them. But for right now, I'm looking forward to it. And just like I said, keeping busy as shit, and do try to make time. I do still try to make time each week to join these folks for our discussions, and also the anime discussions we have once a month on SeptumSin. I'm going to be honest, this month between Skeleton Key and Quasar of Stigmata, this was one tedious ass month. I'm really looking forward to next month, but we'll see what happens.
Alrighty, heading over to you, Tammy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I go on this channel with David and another one, and watch movies and talk about them with everybody, hear their opinions, and a lot of times see things I probably would never have seen otherwise. And some are good, some are not so good, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun, and looking forward to nicer weather so I can take my car back out.
I was going to say it's coming soon.
Oh yeah, we had good weather the last couple days.
Yeah, well,
Yes, indeed.
Wisconsin likes to play the. We're gonna be, 70 this day. We're gonna be 30 this day, and we're gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Wisconsin's kind of schizophrenic with its weather.
Oh, Virginia's pretty schizophrenic too, but yeah, it's I think everywhere is nowadays.
but yeah,
Alrighty. Cool beans.
And I don't
Heading
know
over
if I
to you.
mentioned, but we got. I'm going to be starting a veggie garden this week, so that's going to be even more reason for the schizophrenic weather to be annoying. But hopefully, it'll be good.
Okay. Heading over to you, Brandon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm SeptumSin of SeptumSin versus the World. Love physical media. Continue to collect it. Maybe the love of physical media isn't as strong as it used to be, but there's still enough of it that I've got pickups to last for years. I'm playing around with a few other things for the channel. It depends on if I have the energy or time to dedicate to them. Like I'm trying to do a recommendations every Friday. I'm picking 3 different movies that I think are at least a 6 out of 10 or above, and trying to put those across. I say, hey, take a look at these. These might be fun movies to watch for your weekend. And I try to do at least a weekly review. This week, if things work towards it, I've got it filmed. I just got to get it edited, which I'll probably do editing. I'll do editing eventually. The movie will be Inherited Scars, which is actually quite a fun movie. This is one actually I would almost recommend to Jake, which is weird to say that for a micro budget, because usually he would dislike those. So, but that's one I think that he might like, because it has a kind of a cross between Clerks and Barfly.
Okay.
It has that same cynical nature of both, probably the darkest nature of both together, but still pretty decently written dark comedy. Otherwise, still working on Tales Forgotten Part 2. Then I will be free to do my own things that I'm working on. But I'll let Dave talk about what's coming up for the next month, because that's going to be your month to shine anyway. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. My name is David Straggy. I'm one of the founding fathers of Inside Movies Galore. So thank you for coming along with us on this fantabulous journey that we've been having. Although I will put this month behind me as of right now, and forgetting about it entirely. Not that I'm trying to be insulting to John Johnson, but I've had enough of Skeleton Key.
We'll have to watch a good John Johnson film eventually to redeem him in the future.
Yes, we will, but not now. But in any case, I do moonlight on a different channel called Delusions of Grandeur, where we do go on almost every week unless something comes up. And we go on about various films, and I think we went on about Rings from 2017 as well. So that was a movie that came out that year as well. So in the same year as Skeleton Key part 3, part 2. So that should be interesting. Discussion. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. And I'm thinking that I might go on with, because Tammy's got a meeting with her car club this Sunday. Boris and I will probably go on about another Joe Sherlock film that we have not discussed together yet. So
Fun stuff.
We from time to time discuss his favorite directors, and there's still quite a few that I think we haven't covered together yet. So, but in any case, I will. Let's see. Since this next month is probably a mix of I believe it's yours and mine, right?
Oh no, it's all you.
It's all me.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
This was your franchise.
Okay. That's right. Sharknado, if I remember correctly. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
We're going to start with the first 4 now. We're going to get the rest next time you're up.
Give me an excuse to watch my copies finally. And they're shorter movies, aren't they?
They're all pretty good for the most part. I mean, they pretty much do every single thing that you can do with a CGI shark that you can.
Right.
But
well, I mean,
CGI sharks are.
I don't know how long they are.
Sharknado, the first one's an hour and a half.
Yeah,
so
there we
definitely
go.
Shorter.
But we're doing them each in a row.
Yay.
I'll be able to pull out my copies again, and we'll have some fun. I mean, these are pretty much movies that are led by actress Tara Reid, so it'll be some fun times.
Yep.
But in any case, I am looking forward to some shark attacks this coming month. Definitely a lot more interesting than getting out of Nilbog. But looking forward to it. So hopefully you guys can look forward to some fun too. I mean, they are pretty much fun.
Oh yeah, things will be fun until we reach June, and then I've got control again.
Oh dear, Lord help us.
Well, have you decided on your June picks yet?
Well, I know my June picks, so yeah. So, matter of fact, pretty much everything I'm doing that I have control of, for the most part, except for my Halloween pick, which I haven't done, and my Christmas pick, which I haven't done, is Kevin Smith related.
Oh.
But I may still stick with it and try and do one of the few Kevin Smith horror movies we haven't covered. And I don't think Kevin Smith has done a holiday film, has he?
No.
So I can't really do one of those, but I could do something similar. Maybe Harold and Kumar's Christmas or something.
But in any case, if everyone is all I do some video pickups and some video reviews on my channel from time to time. Although I have to get back into it again, but definitely keep an eye on the channel. It's got some interesting stuff, and I believe we're finishing up with the Tales of the Forgotten Part 2. So, and I think we've pretty much we've got the stuff recorded. It just has to be edited together, and then I believe we'll look at it one last time, and then we'll connect some credits with it, and somehow get it out there to people. And I think that's when I'm going to be starting to talk to Ron Bonk about getting a couple of copies out there to other avenues. So,
yep.
But in any case, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
you.